Hello, my name is Claudia, and before coming to make this video, I was meditating, and in my mind, I keep hearing, tell your story, tell your story. So this video today is going to be about my story. I honestly always wanted to do this because I think it is important for people out there that might be kind of wondering and questioning their reality or why they're here and they seem to not fit in. Maybe because they had similar experiences as me. And so maybe me sharing this story might help you feel like you're not alone. So when I was 5, I was walking outside with my dad, and we just came from the park from playing, and I was holding his hand, and I heard this voice whispering in my right ear saying, never forget that God is within yourself. And it said it in Spanish, because that's my main language. It said, nunca olvides que Dios está dentro de ti. And I was like, wait a minute, who said that? It's not my dad. It's not in his voice. I looked around, nobody was around. And it was just me and him, and I heard that voice. And so, okay. Didn't think about it too much after that. I just keep going with my life. After that, I remember saying, I don't believe in God. This was when I was a little bit much more older. And this bird came and pooped right here in the middle of my head, just right after I said that. So I went to the bathroom and washed my hair and everything, and I was like, ooh, well, maybe there is a God, I don't know. My parents were not like religious. I would say maybe they are, like they're spiritual for sure, but they're not like very religious people. They were not talking to me about God. They were not sitting with me reading the Bible. We never went to church or anything. I went to like Christian school and everything, but what I'm trying to say is that it just took me by surprise because the way my life was. It wasn't like I was being influenced in any way. So the fact that it came from the most natural place where I'm like just walking with my dad at 5, thinking about playing outside and all that, not thinking about God, because I'm not at 5. I wasn't thinking about God at all. Just thinking about playing and eating and doing what kids do. And then hearing that voice, never forget that God is within yourself. It really stayed with me for the rest of my life. And I still question why this happened to me. I'm still not sure why. I might have a clue because of something that somebody told me in the past, that he was a psychic. That's the only clue I have, and something that my mom told me before me being born, that some dreams that she had. So I guess I'm going to talk about that next. There's definitely something happening in this world, I think, because I don't know what it is. And I don't think they don't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's time for me to step up and not think that people are going to look at me as a crazy person online. I think there's people out there that will actually listen to me. So my mom said that before I was born, and I didn't even know this. Like, I didn't even know this, like, before me hearing that voice. Like, this was many years later, and it was because of a psychic. He told me certain things, and then I told my mom, and then she remembered these dreams, and she told me about these dreams, and I was shocked because it sounded really similar to what he was saying. So my mom had 2 dreams. One was that before I was born, she saw a lot of like gold and golden and riches, and like people were like bringing me in this like carriage with horses, and it was all gold around, and people were dressed as gold, like everything was golden, and I was being delivered to my mom like this with gold, and it was all gold and like beautiful, and and she was impressed, like she was shocked, right? That was the first dream she had. And the second dream she had, which is horrible dream, was that the devil was trying to rip me out of her belly, and she was fighting the devil the whole time, and she did not let the devil get me, and she was just fighting and fighting. In the dream, the devil was trying to reach inside the belly and get me out of there. So my mom fought in the dream, and that was it. I'm getting cold. So I'm sharing this openly because I really feel like maybe I should be sharing this with you guys. There's definitely something that we don't know about in this world. That I'm not saying this world is evil or anything, but there's definitely a message that I think is probably been hidden from us. And probably the message is that God is within yourself. I think that's the message that we should all know, is that God is within. Sorry, I'm getting cold and the sun's going down. That God is within yourself, and never forget that. God is within you. God is not outside of you. I'm still trying to understand what this means. It's funny that I'm sharing this, but what I think and I have discovered is that you can be a creator just like God. You can have ideas in your mind and your imaginations, and you can just create and manifest and believe, and you just have to change your beliefs inside of you to create the world that you desired. Some people think that life is the way it is and they don't have any control of it, and I think part of like knowing that the power is within you is that so you can manifest anything you want and desire. And if there's something that you see as evil, it's gonna present as you as evil. If there's something that you change it to something positive and good, it will be good and positive. I think it all has to do with your beliefs. And I think that's what I found out at the end, that the meaning of God being within you is that you can set your own program, your own mindset, your own way of believing things to be. Kicking out those blockages that are being created over and over in your reality that you keep manifesting. Because at the end, what I've discovered is that most of the things that we think about all day long, and the things that we say out loud with our mind, with our voice and our mind, whatever we're thinking or saying or sharing with people, it will manifest somehow in your reality. It also depends on what kind of energy you're giving it. So understanding the energy behind every single word is also very important. The way you say it, the way you feel, how you're feeling in that moment. So once you learn all of that, you kind of start to take more control of your own reality. I'm not perfect. The way I've discovered all of this is by making a lot of mistakes in my own life, where I would say things and they happen, a lot of very negative things. And I was very good, luckily, because I knew this, that God is within myself, but also because I was very lucky that I can see all the patterns and the things that keep repeating in my life. And I start to see life as like a video game where you just like going through the same thing over and over and over, and until you see how you are manifesting all this, or you see how what's the thing that I need to learn from this, or what's the next thing that I should be doing, because I figured out what was blocking me and making this reality repeat over and over. Then you go to the next level, and then once you go to the next level, you're like, okay, I've learned this, now what's next, you know, like. And also like changing the mindset, changing your thought patterns, and changing the way you think. It changes people around you too, because I don't know if I already shared this, but after I heard that voice that said never forget the goddess within yourself, I also was experiencing hearing people's thoughts as my own. I was hearing people's thoughts like if they were saying it like out loud. And so I think there's 5 experiences that I can share with you now, and then after I share those, I'm gonna cut the video there. I'm gonna do part 2. So I'm gonna do part 1, part 2, part 3 of my life story. So what happened was that I was at school, and then this was the first experience that I had as hearing somebody's thoughts. So this was very interesting. So anyways, I was at school, we're about to start a class, and my best friend's sitting behind me, and he said something in the lines of like, oh, here comes this teacher again with the same material, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this anymore, like I'm done. Something very like negative about the class. And I was in front of him, he was behind me, and I heard him, and I turned around and I said, right, like kind of like whispering, because I don't want the teacher to hear, right, here comes this teacher again with the same stuff, with the same material. And I repeated word by word what he was saying, and he was like looking at me like, how do you know that? He said. It's like, I was like, what do you mean? He said, Claudia, I did not say those things out loud, I say them in my mind. How did you know that? And I was like, I heard you, like you were like saying it, I heard your voice, like you told me. It was like, no, I did not, I was just thinking about it, but I didn't say it. And so we're like, okay, brushed it off. It was like, I think we were like around 8th grade. So we're kids, we're like, whatever, it happened. Whatever, we continued with our life. We never even talked about it. Like that was just it. We never even really talked about it anymore. And then I had another experience where I was seeing this teacher coming down the stairs, and I was looking at her face, and I just keep staring at her face, and because I was shocked, like I was hearing her and seeing her face expressions were like kind of mean, but her lips were not moving, and there was kids running around making like loud, you know how kids are running around, and she seemed like she was having the worst day ever. She was like, I don't like that kids are loud and blah blah blah, and like all I can hear was like she was like just saying bad words and like upset about the kids and being loud at school and blah, and she's like tired and done, like. And I was like shocked because I keep looking at her eyes and at her face, and it was her voice, and her lips were not moving. And I was like, how am I doing this? Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, how am I hearing her like so loudly, like she's saying me in my ears? Like that was like it for me. Like I realized I'm hearing people's thoughts. That was the second experience I had. So I was like, I'm hearing people's thoughts. Like I'm seeing her face, her lips are not moving, but I'm hearing all the thoughts. And I know that she was saying those things because she was like mad. You can see her on her face, like she was upset. Like, and she was looking at the kids like, oh, I'm being loud right now. So that was the second experience. Then I'm trying to think the order of things because I really want to be faithful to how it happened. Oh my god, I'm shaking. It's cold. So After that, I told my mom. I think that was the third time. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I can hear people's thoughts. And she didn't believe me, of course. Who's gonna believe that? I mean, I don't know if you guys are gonna believe me, but who cares? I'm openly talking about it, whatever. She didn't believe me. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna test out if I can do it like right now and then, because I didn't have control of this. This was just happening. So I'm gonna test things out. I'm gonna sit down, and somehow I knew how to meditate. I was like, I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm not gonna think about anything else, and I'm gonna connect to my mom. And I was sitting in a rocking chair. I remember closing my eyes, getting my mind to the state where it was so relaxed, like nothing was going on in my mind. It was just like blank. And then I thought about my mom, and she was in the kitchen. I know she was, because I was close enough to hear her. She was and I remember like today, like she was like cutting some carrots. Like you can hear that she's cutting the carrots, cooking something, you know, for us. And I closed my eyes, and then I started thinking about my mom, and then all of a sudden I start hearing, I need to do this file for this person, I need to call him, I need to do this phone calls, and I need to work. She was just thinking about her job things that she has to do the next day or that same day. Can't remember detail, but this was many years ago. And she was just thinking about her job. And so I remember I didn't even finish trying to listen to what else she was about to say, because I was like so excited that I just got the information. I was like, I ran to the kitchen. Mom, remember that I told you I can hear people's thoughts? You were just thinking about this. You were thinking about files that you need to do. You were thinking about this person, the phone calls you gotta make, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, how did you do that? It's like, I told you, Mom, I can hear people's thoughts. For real. And she was like shocked. It's like, okay. But that was it. We didn't even talk about it anymore after that. That was it. And so after that experience, because these things that happened to me weren't like on my control. That was the only time that I was able to control it, that I was able to meditate for some reason. Like I knew to close my eyes and meditate and like do and focus on that. But the other times just happen naturally. So, and I'm school, I need to be at school, I need to do like kid stuff. Like I'm not thinking about being a psychic, I'm not like into any of these things. It's just happened to me like that. So anyways, after that, trying to think, what was the next thing that happened? So the next thing that happened, this is in the real order, because I've told this story in another video, but I'm trying to be like as orderly as possible. The next thing happened was that we were at vacation, and it was me, my mom, my stepsister, and my stepdad. And we woke up really early to go to eat. It was a fast food. I don't remember, maybe it was McDonald's or something, and we're just eating something quickly, because then we were gonna go to a boat or something, or to the beach. But we were sitting at the table. We have our hamburgers and everything, fries and stuff, hash browns and stuff. And my stepsister was here, I was here, Mom, my stepdad were in the same sitting around, right? Anyways, where I'm eating, and then all of a sudden I start hearing like loud conversations. Like everybody was like saying things, like conversations. It was all about different conversations, but it was like happening all at the same time. Like all sorts of conversations were coming in, and like I was hearing everything. It was like super loud, and I'm like eating, because I was looking down. I was like not looking at anywhere. I was just focused on eating, and then all of a sudden I'm like, why everybody so loud here? And I was like that, like I was even louder. Like I was like, why everybody's being so loud here? And then my stepsister stared at me like, Claudia, look around. Nobody's talking. Everybody's eating. And I literally looked around, and all the people that were there just eating, nobody was saying anything. And it was early in the morning, so I remember that, like, you know how people are slower in the morning, like people are much more quieter in the morning. So it's like, it shocked me that everybody around in the restaurant, I mean not in the restaurant, McDonald's, they were just like eating their stuff. Nobody was loud, for real. And then all those voices just went down, like it was just like silence. And I'm looking around, I'm like, whoa, okay. Whew, I just get chills just talking about this. So that happened, and then after that, I think I'm just gonna cut it here, and then I'll just do part 2. Thank you for listening. I hope this was fun, and this is my real true life story. Like, this is what happened to me as a kid. Like, it was just insanely crazy. I wasn't into, like I said, I wasn't into God. I was not spiritual. My parents were not taking me to church. I'm like, this just happened. It was just a natural thing that happened to me. And for some reason, I'm hearing, share this message, share it with the world, share it. Goodbye.